Okay, hello. Welcome to episode 5. I'm Bert Lamar. This is the Bert Lamar Show, and this is Jake, and we are in Hawaii. Um, we just recently moved here. We're still setting up shop, but if you've followed some of my episodes already, you would know that my 10-year dream is to win an Ironman and do my best trying. And here I am living in Hawaii because this is where the worlds are and this is my dream and I'm going for it. So, episode 5. This is probably the biggest, but it's also probably the most business minded one. So, I'm hoping my intent with this episode is to hopefully save you years of time, save you hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions, I don't know, thousands, save you a lot of money. I have, fortunately or unfortunately, I have over 4 decades now of starting and running businesses from my heart. So, why is this episode called Brand Your Heart? Um, because branding is a business, and somehow over my past 4 decades of business and success and failure and ups and downs, I have learned to. Someone got it into my head. I don't know if it was my mom, my dad, agents. Maybe I read it somewhere. I'm not sure, but taking care of business, TCB. So you could be a great pro skater and not have a business career, not have a great career. You could be a great, for me, these are things for me in my decade. You could be one of the top skaters winning contests, but never make a living at it. You could be one of the top, you could be the world champion. I was world champion snowboarder and not make a living at it or not make a career out of it. You could be a pro golfer and not make a career. You could be the best Ironman. I hope to be. You could be a violinist, whatever it is. There's a lot of great starving artists that I think, and don't take this the wrong way, I think they get taken advantage of, and or they don't know how to go after their value and get their worth. So how does branding your heart work? So I'm going to go through two examples today in my lifetime. One is as an athlete, and then one is as a business, just strictly as like starting a company like Lamar Snowboards or Iliac Golf or Lamar Organic Wear. So before I start today, I want to thank um, all of you for watching and sharing. Please share this. My first intention is to make money off of my podcast so I can keep doing them. And the only way to do that is if it's something valuable. So I feel like I'm giving all my experience, and I hope it helps. And I hope you share this, and I hope that you love it. And then my second sponsor is Lamar Organic Wear, which I have nothing in front of me right now. This is an organic T-shirt. These are in linen, bio-linen pants. Lamar Organic Wear, my brand that I'm making. I feel like trying to save the world from toxic apparel. We are making nature certified organic apparel, and it is plant dyed vegetables, plants, coffee, and tea, but everything's organic. I have 25 years experience in apparel and a lot of connections with suppliers, and it was very, very difficult to find and source natural, organic, truly organic material. And then the problem is people are even sourcing it and selling it, but then they're dyeing it with toxic dyes. So this is a big thing we don't see directly that, but people say, "Oh, fuck cancer." Well, it's fuck the apparel companies that are killing us with toxic polyester, forever dangerous chemicals, PFAS, microplastics. Anyway, I want to thank Lamar Organic Wear, my brand, my sponsor of my podcast for supporting this whole program. So I'm here in Hawaii chasing my dreams out here um, on the water. I will be showing you some really cool development of the line from here. So now that we got that out of the way, let's, if you got a pen or paper or you're recording, I would take some notes because some of these mistakes that took me years and cost me hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars, um, are things that I'm going to share with you today. And hopefully will help you get on a fast track to building a brand and branding your heart. Okay, so let's start with the first part, branding your heart. What does that mean? Why am I calling it that? So, branding your heart is, if you watched episode 2, the 10-year dream, that's what it's all about. It's about becoming literally the child that can dream. We go to school, we have peers, we get shot down by society to chase our dreams. If you want to be a rock star, if you want to be a snowboarder, if you want to be a surfer, if you want to be a musician, if you want to have a skincare line, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it's your dream. And it comes from, where does it come from? Why is the episode called Brand Your Heart? Jakey, come here. It comes from your heart. And so um, most business people, most schools teach people to go after the money, go after the numbers, go after the math. And they do analytics, they use analytics, they do data research, they do, as the CEO of K2 Corporation, all they do is like literally look at every company's data and try to knock it off. That's the opposite of coming from your heart, right? That's coming from your wallet, coming from it's capitalistic. And I love those companies because they aren't whatever I've made. They aren't true passionate brands. They aren't companies that are made from love and from the heart. And people ask me, what's my favorite food? And I say, well, anything made from love. And I think you can tell when your food is made from love. And I think you can tell when a brand is there from love and from their heart. And why is this important in business? Well, I think it's the key to success. I think anybody that's successful at anything is doing it because they love it, because it's going to be hard. It's going to suck. You're going to want to quit. Um, Everyone's going to tell you it's a stupid idea. But like I said, if you find the 10-year dream and you stick to it and you brand your heart, you can make a brand. You can create a brand. I've done it 3 times now. I've created Lamar Snowboards, Iliac Golf, and now Lamar Organic Wear. I've had a couple of failures. I had the Elevation Snowboards. I mean, it wasn't a failure. It was a beautiful brand. It just didn't last. And some toy projects and some other things. And I think probably those were done for money and not from the heart. So I'm glad that I've had some failures, because really the only thing that is matters is doing what you love, right? So making it into a business. So how do you brand your heart? Okay, so I love Ironmans right now. I love being active. I love an active lifestyle. I'm living in Hawaii. I was at Pipeline yesterday, meeting all kinds of people. I just finished a bike ride and a run on the beach. I'm in love with these things. I love the passion of this sport. And so I am creating product for my passion, and I'm going to turn it into a business. I am turning it into business. Okay. So how do you brand your heart? How do you turn it into a business? So we'll use, I don't know, what's a good example? Whatever your company is. If you wanted to make, snowboards, let's just say, since I've done that. So, and you love snowboarding, that's all you can think about. Well, you have to learn how to find your niche and find your brand. But the first and the number one, the first step that I always tell everyone, and the most important business step, is to own your name. So, intellectual property. I don't know if you all know what that means or if it's new to you, but intellectual property is what you need to own in a business. So this is you branding your heart. You want to have a snowboard company, you love it, you want to call it Lamar Snowboards, and you need to own the name Lamar. You can't do one thing. People come to me, oh yeah, we're going to get the name trademarked later. You can't do that. You have to do that first before you tell anyone, before you tell your best friend, your wife, your dog, your friends, your family, especially the public. Um, because in this world, business is it's a battle. It's cutthroat. The people that are out there that aren't out there for branding their heart. They're just out making money. They might own your name. So here's an interesting one. Polo. I'm sure most of you have heard of Ralph Lauren Polo. Ralph Lauren, his name is not Ralph Lauren, it's Ralph Lipschitz. But they own the trademark Ralph Lauren. And he was hired on to work with them, and thus the name Polo. So you have to own your mark, you have to own your name. It's the most important first step. Then the second step is the logo, which you have to own. So let's say it's your swish, or for me now, it's my string of hearts. So you have to own it. And how do you do that? Well, you can spend hundreds of thousands or thousands with attorneys, but I'm going to share a shortcut. You can go to USPTO, which is the US Patent and Trademark Office, and you can go to trademark search. It's called TESS, TESS, Trademark Electronic Search Systems, I think. That's a lot of pomegranate juice. Um, so get to your trademark search, type in your name. So this is a free step. An attorney showed me this. He would pay his paralegals to do this. And so you can just bypass thousands of dollars by going to USPTO, TESS, TESS, do a trademark search. So whatever your name of your company is going to be, let's say it's Jake's Dog Treats, and Jake needs to own his name. So you're going to type it in, and someone might own it for groceries. I think at one point someone owned my name for groceries and some other things. So you're going to have to write them a letter, and you can call the USPTO. They have the best customer service ever, and these guys will walk you through it. You can actually bypass all the attorneys and lose save thousands and thousands of dollars. And ultimately, this is the most important part of your company, owning your name. So go to the USPTO, TESS, TESS, find out if the name's there. So you might see your name, Jake, whatever, I'm using that as an example. You might see that, and it might not be live. And so it's just there. Some people have had it, but it died. They didn't keep their trademark up. Trademarks are like 10 or 15 years life, but you have to keep them up. So then if there's no one live, then you've got a really good chance of getting it. And that's when you go to the same website and you register for your trademark and register it. And this takes months, and they publish it in some newspapers. And if no one contests, they approve, and they I don't know what they call it, but they confirm that you have the ownership of that name, and so you will get it, and you're off and running. Step one. And you can't really do anything else public with your name until then. So many people start little brands, little companies, restaurant shops. They don't own the trademarks. So you can put that R there and it's legally protected. It's unfortunate, but people will just go and register it, and then if you're big enough, like Tesla was. My son told me someone at Tesla, Elon or someone told they didn't own their one of their names or the URL, and they told their executive to go meet with this guy that owned it and don't come back until you get it. And he had to spend millions and millions and millions to buy, a $200 trademark, or the next one we'll talk about is URLs. But you cannot brand your heart unless you own your mark. Okay. So step one, put a list together. I suggest put a list together of, if you don't know the name you want, put a list together of your 10 favorite names for your brand. Then don't tell anyone. Don't show anyone. Just put your list together and then go on tests and see if any of them are alive. If your first choice is live and someone owns it in the same category, you're pretty much screwed on that name. So you can try changing the spelling. I'm going to sit down here. You can try changing the spelling. Here, let's do this. And sometimes, companies nowadays are getting creative and they add like an extra R. So if it was Lamar, maybe it's Lamar with two R's or something like that. um, but you've got to find a name that's not live and not owned by someone. And if someone owns it in some weird category and they own Jake's Tractor Service, and you're not going to go in Tractor Service, you can write them and you can get a legal page. You can probably use AI and say, hey, I'm not going to go into the tractor business if you don't go into the dog treat business, whatever Jake's going into, whatever your business is. And that's good enough to give to the patent and trademark office, and they'll award you your name in all the categories, dog treats or whatever you're doing, snowboards, whatever it is. They'll award you your name outside of tractors. So you legally agree to not do tractors. They own it for tractors, you own it for dog treats. Okay? So this is just an example, but you have to do this first. This is going to save you. There's so many companies and people, like I said, that have had these beautiful brands and they put their heart and soul and their life savings. They put everything into it, and then a year down the road, 2 years down the road, 6 months down the road, some point along the line, someone comes along and says, sorry, but we own Mary's Donut Shop or Bob's Snowboards, whatever it is, and you don't own the name, and someone else owns your company and your name. And it's especially important when you're getting ready to sell the company. So when I sold Lamar Snowboards to this big company that took it mass, lower price, they got rid of everything. That's all they bought was the name. They hired me for 6 months, and I went to a couple trade shows, and that was it. They owned the name. So without that intellectual property, you have nothing. You do not have a brand. But with it, you have everything. You own your brand, and you have the confidence, and you can do all this for hundreds of dollars. You don't need attorneys. You don't need to waste thousands of dollars. So there's step one. And then you can't really go get your URL and your Instagrams and your social media, your TikToks, whatever else you're going to get till you own the name. And then you also want to own the art, your logo, your swoosh, whatever it is. And so once you have those, and that can take months, 3 to 6 months. So that's your first step. Then you just work on everything on the background. And then once you're approved on that, then and only then can you go get the URLs. And I would check or actually you could buy the URL if it's available, buy it the day you're searching on tests and that you think your logos, your name is going to be available. Like if you do the search on tests, it might show, like if it's Jake's dog food, you might show nobody and no one's live with it. And so there's a good chance you're going to get it. So I would right then check on the URLs wherever you buy a domain and see if that's available. If you could get jakesdogfood.com, then you're on your way. And then you can also get the Instagram. You might as well get them because they're free basically, or the URL is pretty cheap. And get your Instagram, get that, and then you're waiting to get approved for your trademark. And you can get things ready, but I wouldn't spend a lot of money on labels, logos, anything that's permanent until that's approved. So once that's approved, you have your intellectual property, you have your trademark, and then you have your URLs and your Instagrams and all that. And then you're off and running. And then um, one of the next biggest lessons I think I've learned is I call it don't go beating your chest until you're ready to deliver. So what does that mean? So let's say you're branding your heart. You decide you love uh, let's keep with the example of dog food. You love dogs and you love dog food, and you're making a dog food brand called Jake's, and you have researched the trademark. It's available. You've got all your URLs. You've got your Instagrams, your social media. Everything is is yours. You own it. Now you create an LLC or whatever you're going to do legally to protect your company or a sole proprietorship, and you have your company. Okay, so this is you branding your love for dog food and dogs. And now um, you need to put a little 6 month or 1 year or 3 year plan together. I would use AI, ChatGPT or something, and put that together with your brand name and time sort of this build up for it. And it's really good, I think, to do a little teasing and build up for it, and then you have your release. Um, but don't release unless your product's ready. So, because you might get lucky and you might blow up, or someone might share, and you might start getting a lot of requests and orders and that. So you want to make sure you can deliver and you're ready to go. And I think that's a lot to work on for the beginning of a brand. Um, all the other stuff, like the beautiful website and the logo and the pamphlets and all that stuff, that's great, but you can't do any of that until you own your name. So own your name, own your mantra. So if you were Nike, you own the name Nike, you own Just Do It, and you own the swoosh. And if it's Jake's, this is good, that's your mantra, or woof, this is good, and you own that, and then you own, um, Jake's dog food. And so once you have all that, you're branded. You are a brand. You have to make sure that someone is on top of this and you keep it up. So many companies get going and then someone let the trademark fall through the cracks and they lose millions, especially when you're selling the brand or have to go buy it from someone and figure that out. And then if you're international, if you're not just in the US, unfortunately nowadays you used to be able to just buy a trademark for the world, and then you used to be able to buy one for all of Europe. And now they figured out they can make money for each country. So I highly recommend, if you know you're going to be going into Japan or to Italy or to France, you got to get the trademark in each country. And that's a lot of work. And I don't even know the details on that, but just keep that in mind. Get your US trademark if you're in the US. If you're listening to this from whatever country, get it in your country, and then start to do some research on owning it in other countries where you think you're going to have some success. So, yeah, this is I think the key to branding your heart, whether you're an athlete, so that's me talking about it as a business, starting something like Jake's Dog Food or Lamar Snowboards. And then the next thing is if you're just a performer or an artist or an athlete, it's the same thing. And that's even more painful and emotional for a lot of people. Um, Look at Prince, the artist Prince, that had to call himself the artist formerly known as Prince, right? So he didn't own his name. And, that's I mean, it's terrible to say it's his fault, but it is because he didn't own it. He's an artist. He's a beautiful artist, but no one showed him how to trademark his name. So I'm trying to save you headache, hardship in the real world of business. So becoming a brand, if you're an artist and even if you're a yoga teacher or you're a painter or you're a musician, um, whatever you do, you should own that name because at some point you can scale and you can turn into a business. And I think those are the most beautiful businesses and the most successful. And back to my point at the beginning, people ask, what kind of food do you like? And I say, anything made with love. Like, I think people can tell when a brand is made from love and from their heart and from passion. And that's what I've done my whole life. That's what I'm doing now. Lamar Organic Wear is straight from my heart. It's about saving people from toxic apparel. My mother died at 47 of cancer, and my sister died at 47 of cancer. And my grandmother worked for Singer for 30 years. My mother was a sewer. So apparel is a big part of my life. Actually, I'm actually starting to sew my apparel now here in Hawaii and dye it in Hawaii. Um, but I don't want it to harm anyone. And so I'm branding my heart. Lamar Organic Wear is my brand. My logo's on my arm and leg, and it's a trademark that I own. It's the brand that is coming from my heart, and I think people will see that in the product line. And if you're following my steps, I think I'm giving you the blueprints to following your dream. If you go back to episode 2, it's about finding your 10-year dream and then really sticking to it and letting that guide you. And then now we're talking about really protecting that dream. And that's where, a lot of people just get so frustrated and heartbroken and yeah, they don't own their name. So that's branding your heart. And thank you for listening. Please like this, share this, what everyone says, comment below, share comments. I am going to try to do this every Monday. It's Monday here in Hawaii. I don't know where you're at. Oh, it's probably Monday in most places. But I really appreciate you and this opportunity to share with the world my experience in sport, life, and business. And so the concept of this podcast is the intersection of sport, design, life, and business, health, and wellness. So, any like-minded entrepreneurs and people working towards things out there, I am here for you if you have questions. And go brand your heart. How cool would it be to be making money doing what you love, whatever that is? For me, I hope it's riding my bike like today in the rain in Hawaii, or swimming in the ocean, or running on the beach like today, and then designing running shorts for people that are doing the same thing. And I'm branding my heart and protecting it. So I hope you do. And then to wrap it up, I'm going to thank my sponsors, Lamar Organic Wear. Please go to lamarorganicwear.com and buy some clothes. Buy them for someone. They have an EMF pocket in them that protects you from the toxic phone rays. I'm not sure if you've heard, but just recently with the Super Bowl and all this big news, the San Francisco 49ers have had a track record of getting injured for years and years and years, and broken limbs and that. And they hired Dr. Saladita. I'm going to butcher his name, but he's amazing. He goes out calling out, the harmful toxins in the world. And they found an EMF plant right next door to where they practice 30 hours a week. And that is directly affecting their limbs and their ligaments and drying out their bones and tissues. It's basically killing them fast. And I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't know the exact part of it, but if you look up his research, it's all over the internet. San Francisco 49ers EMF rays. It's like a plant next door to their practice facility that's been, so they're obviously going to move, I would think. But things are harmful and they're real subtle and we don't see it. And then we just say, fuck cancer. Well, here it is. Here's your solution. Lamar Organic Wear. So eat organic, wear organic. Don't let the phones get you with toxic phone EMF rays. So you can buy some Lamar Organic Wear at lamarorganicwear.com and support my sponsor. And thank you. I hope you have a great success branding your heart. And yeah, aloha.